Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of The Light-Skinned Perspective. This is episode 8 of the new rendition of the non-problematic season, I guess you could call it. I'm Kenan J. Floyd. You can follow me on Instagram, KenanJFLOYD as in pink. Follow me Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You can also follow the podcast on Instagram, LSP Cast, and follow us on Facebook, also LSP Cast. If you're joining us for the first time here on YouTube, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. YouTube.com/LightSkinPerspective podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. My co-host Mo Green is in transit right now. He's not able to join us right this second, but he should be in here later, or he might not. We'll see. We're always doing different things on this podcast. We're trying to keep it fresh and fit. Know what I'm saying? We have a very, very special guest with us today. A very good friend of mine, a very hilarious comedian who's out here in the Los Angeles area. Please make some noise for my good friend Zahra Ali. I don't know why I keep introducing people like this as a comedy show. But Zahra, what's going
on? What's going on? A lot. Thank you for having me. Happy to be here and fill in for, I guess, the white girls that were supposed to be here. I'm an 8th white, so does that count? Does it count in reverse? Like, if I'm an 8th white, can I be considered white?
I mean, it's
for this podcast.
It's also the glasses. Maybe the glasses.
Oh, should I take them off?
No, keep them on because we're both scholarly in this debauchery that is.
Sure, I will. If they make me look scholarly, like people will care about what I have to say. Sure.
It's almost like we're talking about a new disease that's about to come out. This is very CNN-esque.
Sure. The new disease is misogyny. Oh no, that's a very old disease. Sorry. I don't know. I feel like
misogyny
all the diseases
has
already
existed
exist.
before Jesus was born. So yes,
misogyny existed when God created Eve, right? Like that's what.
Yeah, because he gave Eve the rule. Because remember, if Eve ate the fruit, she would have died, and Adam would have gotten a new wife. It was Adam who messed it up for everyone else because he listened to his wife.
Yeah. And then they try to blame it on Eve. They always try to blame it on the wife, like no matter what.
At the beginning of time.
Patriarchy, man.
Eve fucked it up for everybody.
No, it was Adam. Adam was the dumbass. Oh, sorry. Is that blasphemous? Can I not?
Adam listened. He was a dumbass because he listened to his wife. So remember, fellas, know your worth. Know your worth, kings. Know your worth. If your wife is like, you want to eat this? Be like, no! Slap her out of her hands. And take her to Applebee's.
Gross.
So what's going on with you, Zahra? Where can people find you?
You all can find me on the socials at Really Zahra. Zahra is spelled Zahra. It's spelled phonetically because my dad was like, all right, Americans need help reading. Let me spell it like how it's actually pronounced. And people still fuck it up. So I'm sorry. Are we allowed to drop F-bombs? My apologies.
Yes, we curse.
Yeah. Zahra. Zahra. Really Zahra. Please follow me because like Hollywood is like giving me a hard time. If more of you follow me, I may actually start putting up my stand-up content. Otherwise, why would I be putting up my stand-up content for the 3,000 guys in my DMs who aren't really following me for my content, Anyway.
Yeah. So we got Mo, disembodied voice, on the podcast now.
What up, Mo?
He really wanted to be here, but where can they find you, Mo?
No, I'm saying.
Oh my God! See,
comedian Mo Green on top.
Oh my gosh!
You can't hear me? No, not working.
You sound like
if it's not working, I'm out.
You sound like you're working in the Burger King drive-thru.
Yeah, actually.
How about now?
All right, now you sound better.
Better, loud, but better. Why don't you put on your R&B radio announcer voice? Like if you can do that.
Now, is that better? I'm just trying.
Oh, yeah.
I wanna...
No, this is good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, because now I had the Bluetooth connected to my car. So is that okay?
Where can they find you, Mo?
And he's gone.
Okay. All right, Mo. Come back when you're stationary. Come back when you're stationary so that we can.
All right. Fuck, I tried. Fuck.
We love you. Come back when we can hear you. Oh my gosh. Wow. This is so early pandemic. Like I thought we had sorted out technical issues by now.
See, I'm going to have to talk to you about that offline because me and Mo, we've had many arguments where Mo and I are getting into arguments on the podcast about technology. So it's like, don't even, that's like a sore subject. So just for the audience, I've known Zahra for 6 years?
6, 7 years. I think I ran into you in New York, in Brooklyn.
New York,
right?
Yes.
During my early days of stand-up. So I would say it's been like over 7 years officially because Facebook reminded me with those like throwback pictures where that it's always a throwback picture that you blacked out, of memory. But yeah, it's been 7+ years. So this probably was 6 years ago because I was like brand new and very excited to like meet everybody and do all the things, before I was even ready to.
And now we're just jaded and abused by the comedy industry that is.
Yeah, but what's his name? Tiger Belly podcast. Who's the guy? Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee told me this. He was like, between years 3 to 7, it is going to suck really bad. It's going to be bad. And then once the opportunities start coming in, whether they're writing or on screen, on TV, behind the screen or whatever, then it will all start coming together. And as long as you have talent and you're making friends rather than making enemies, if you just stick with it, it will, and you have the talent to back it up, it will start coming together. So I think now I see it. And the only thing that is really standing in my way is just myself, really. It's just me making the time to go through all the motions that I know I have to do. But there are plenty of people who like go through all the motions and are still kind of stuck in a rut. And I think Bill Burr had that where he was in it for like 15, 20 years. So, like he started in his 20s and he didn't become famous till like his mid 40s, So everybody's on their own path, man.
Yeah, Bill, I mean, he did like the Chappelle show and stuff like that, but he really wasn't like a TV guy until recently. Recently, he's gotten on The Mandalorian. He has a cartoon on Netflix. So yeah, we definitely have to keep going. Now, Zahra is getting married. It's how much life changes.
Oh my God. Yeah. I thought I was going to be married to comedy. And then, the pandemic happened and live shows came to a halt. Like 2020 I had 2020 so planned out. Like I was going to take 6 months, like a leave of absence from like my corporate day job. And I had tours from different headliners that I was like, and some celebrity headliners that I was like opening for and featuring for. Like I was going to actually do this for 6 months to like help propel my stand-up career and like hope, 2020 was going to, I was shaping it to be my year. And then Mother Nature had other plans. And then kind of in that 2-year span, life happened. I got engaged. We got a house and all of that. So it's just, I think certain things happen and you just have to like move with the curveballs of life. The great thing with stand up is that it's not going anywhere. It's just evolving. So you got to figure out what your new entry point is going to be.
And now you're going to have much more material.
Oh my gosh, I have like a whole new set on just wedding planning, and marrying a DJ, and Fun fact about marrying a DJ, I didn't realize this until I was sitting with my fiance and he was going through music in his crate. When you marry a DJ, you never hear the end of a song, like ever again. Like I'm never going to hear the end of a song for as long as I've been this marriage.
I hate it when they play like a really good song, like they play the beginning of a song you really like, and then you're like, oh shit, this is my jam, and then they mix it into like another song. It's like, why are you playing the beginning when you're just gonna play What Is Love by Holloway anyway? Just start off What Is Love. Just start. Don't play Intergalactic by the Beastie Boys just to mesh it together to play What Is Love. That's
a weird combination. I think that DJ needs some schooling. That's a weird ass combination.
He's like, this is all the stuff that I listened to when I played Lion King on Sega Genesis. That's but yeah, happy for you. Also, you're also still doing the facial recognition comedy show, which does shows all over the country.
Yes, yeah. Facial recognition comedy is a stand-up comedy show showcasing South Asian, Middle Eastern, North African. We call it I think the acronym is MINASA, Middle Eastern, North African, South Asian descent, brown women in comedy, and stand-up comedy. And it's we created it because Hollywood thinks we're all the same person, and continues to only have one role or slot available. And it's like we're all kind of just piled on and pitted against each other for that one minority spot that's available. So we're like, you know what? Like, fuck it. Let's just do our own show. Let's do our own thing. And we did. And we've been at it now for 4 years. Mm-hmm. Took a little hiatus from live shows during the pandemic, but like we pretty much like took over Zoom comedy, and then we took over Clubhouse when Clubhouse was, you know, the thing and poppin' and paying content creators. And yeah, now we're back to live shows in LA, New York. Hopefully, when things are a little bit more open and less problematic to be out and about and traveling, we'll start touring again. So
very cool, very cool. Well, now that we got that bullshit out the way,
hey, it's not bullshit. That's my promotion of my business. Okay, I'm trying to be a boss babe out here. All right,
a boss babe with the DJ husband. I'm telling you, just don't put Intergalactic with What Is Love together in the same song.
Listen, let me enjoy my bliss of being in this creative power couple. You know.
Well, I mean, they do have a house in LA, so that is all power couple that you need to know right now. Right now, some of us are still working on it. So,
you know, I think you just have to get into the NFT space early.
Oh, well, yeah, we're working on
I think with the millennial group, we got screwed over so badly that I think we're just kind of throwing shit at the wall, hoping something lands, where we're just trying to figure out different hacks to like make money. Because at this point, none of us can make money in the traditional ways. You know, like people are literally selling their feet pictures on the internet and making tens of thousands.
Well, Gen Z is definitely going to be the next batch of billionaires, because I think Gen Z is really starting to figure it out. They're really starting to figure out how to like make money from home. They're like, man, I don't need kindergarten or elementary school. I'm going to just eat candy on TikTok and make tens of millions of dollars.
Dude, there's kids doing that. There's kids that have been just like opening up toys on YouTube, mm-hmm. like unboxing. These like 4-year-olds unboxing toys on YouTube, and they're making so much money.
I'm going to start going to theme parks and trying different foods and being drunk. And I'm going to put that on TikTok and Instagram. That's the reason. That's why you need to follow me on fucking Instagram. Because it's about that.
That's the viral moment.
I'm going to go to Disneyland drunk. And I want everyone to come with me. So make sure you follow me on Instagram.
Everyone. I like it. That's
That's the next
Can
thing.
someone explain to me, because I don't understand this phenomenon, and I saw it when I was in Disney World and Disneyland. People are walking around with like a huge leg of a bird. Like just walking around the theme park. And I'm like, this, I understand it's a theme park, but is this like part of the experience?
Yes.
Like you have to have like a leg, like a chicken leg that's this like bigger than the size of your face,
So,
like waving it around like it's a lollipop or something.
So,
like
so
it was used to be cotton candy, and now it's like literally pieces of meat. Like
so Disneyland. So Disney apparently has genetically engineered its own type of bird, but they call it turkey legs. I think it's like emu.
Turkey legs.
Because aren't turkey legs like the meat? Isn't it kind of like more whitish?
It's still dark meat. Leg meat is still dark meat for
light meat.
Okay. It's poultry, so it's still dark meat.
So I got a turkey leg when I went to Disneyland months ago, and the shit was like red and black. So I ate 2 bites of it, and then what you do is when you eat food at Disneyland, you're not actually supposed to finish it. You're supposed to literally like churros and turkey legs and burgers and all that shit. You're literally supposed to take a couple bites, take some pictures, and then throw that shit away.
But like, why? I mean, I'm sorry. I grew up in an immigrant household where like you finish your food, you know, especially if you're paying the price of a studio apartment for it. Like that, the food at Disneyland is expensive. Okay, if I'm paying $30 for this turkey leg, I'm gonna eat it. Maybe that's why people carry it around all fucking day, because
people
it takes
carry
that
it around
long
because
to
they're
eat
like, at least I'm gonna get my steps in. At least I'm gonna get some walking distance for the price of this turkey, because I can't finish this damn thing. It's so greasy. It's so big. Disney, and then you have the Disney adults that go there, which is
I don't understand these people. I really don't.
It's mostly white women, and
no, in LA, in California, no. I was getting on a flight, to go to I was getting on a flight from somewhere back to LA, and there was a couple in front of me that was on their honeymoon. They were just starting their honeymoon, and the bride had her Mickey ears on, and she was giving the flight attendants like the Disney cookie favors from her wedding the 2 nights before or whatever. And everyone's like, "Yay, congratulations." And it's like, "Where are you going? Disney?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm so excited." And I'm like, "You're like at least 30 years old and you're going to Disney for your honeymoon? Like, this is..."
I bet she's an annoying person in real life. She's probably a lot to be around. I mean, there's people that force their boyfriends to go to Disneyland or their husbands to go to Disneyland. These men look so sad, and then there's the groups of girls that go, which is white women, and then the other women of color that they brainwashed. And it's like you wear the Disneyland shirts, you wear the mouse ears, you wear the socks, you wear all this stuff. But then I'm like, but you got these people into the park. Like, you got them into the park. That should be enough. But no. You also get these people to dress up like they're crazy. Like they're crazy.
Yeah,
like
I'm sorry. I was trying to find the picture of me and my fiance, well then boyfriend, at Disney. Don't judge me. But this was, okay, it was both our collective ideas. The first year we were dating, one of the first excursions we went on, you know, once we like made it official, we're like, let's go to Disney. So we took a Monday off, went to Disney. And I was like, do you want to get like matching shirts so it's like easier to find each other if we get lost? And so we did. And then he regretted it immediately once they came in.
Yeah.
But he wore it. And that is us at Disney being that couple. I don't know if you could see it.
But... I can see how awful it is. Yes, I can see it. Yes.
Yuck. We were that couple, so I get it. But like, we never did it again. And he looked like such a douche that day. But to be fair, every guy wearing a Disney matching shirt with his girl looks like a douche. Like, it's just my ex took me to Disneyland for my birthday. And
I did enjoy myself. And we got ears and all that stuff, and with our names in the back, and you know, it was whatever. But after like a day and a half, we looked at each other, we're like, we should just go home and fuck. Like, why are we why are we here?
I mean, it's all a ruse. It's all a ruse, just something to do until it's time to, you know, get naked.
Exactly. But
yeah, but like, wait, hold on. A day and a half? So you did a multi-day to Disney?
Because it was cheaper. It was like $50 if you did like 3 days or some shit, right?
Got it.
So we ended up doing like a day and a half. Then we left, and then a friend of hers wanted to take their kids, so we used that ticket to go with the kids. And let me tell you something: when you go to Disney World with kids, it's different. Like, you can only do like 2 things.
I'm not looking forward to it. I'm really not. I think, I don't know if you're allowed to say this out loud when you're accompanying and chaperoning kids, but if I had to do that, I would take an edible, like at the start of the journey.
It's a lot.
Just to make it easier.
It's a lot to go, because I've gone with friends to parks with children. It's a lot. Like, I have a lot of respect for parents that take their kids outside, because it depends.
It depends on the child. It is a lot, but it really depends on the child, because I have some friends who don't discipline their children, and these children are demons, like absolute demons. I'm talking about throwing rocks at people and shit, and like they're, you know, and then I have other friends who like discipline their kids really well, and it's just a matter of like managing around the times of when they get hungry. I think once you figure that science out, it can be a very enjoyable experience. So
I don't necessarily think that means the kids are bad. It's just you have to be supervising other people. If they disappear, God forbid, that's a whole thing.
Oh my gosh, it's stressful.
You have to get the children acclimated to big crowds. You know, when you want them to meet Mickey Mouse and all that stuff, you have to acclimate them to not be scared. I remember when I was a baby, or when I was a kid, back in the day, we used to have Showbiz Pizza. Right? And I remember Showbiz Pizza was the place before Chuck E. Cheese. And I remember, where a kid can be a kid, Showbiz Pizza. I remember when Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, I remember those commercials.
Yeah, when Chuck E. Cheese and Showbiz Pizza merged, I remember Chuck E. Cheese showed up at the mascot showed up at Chuck E. Cheese at Showbiz Pizza, and I flipped the fuck out. Like, I remember I was like in the high chair. I was in the high chair, and I was belted into the high chair, and I couldn't get out. And Chuck E. Cheese was walking through the place, and I was freaking the fuck out. I remember this. I was freaking out. And then this rat gets to my face, tries to wave, and I'm screaming and all that shit. So I was one of the, but normally I was cool. But for some reason, Chuck E. Cheese scared the shit out of me. So it's like, you also have to deal with that when you're taking kids. Fortunately, at Disneyland now, at least their heads are proportionate to their bodies. Because back in the day when we were kids, Zara, the mascots' heads used to be humongous, and they had these small bodies. They had regular human-shaped bodies, but then they had these huge porcelain heads.
Yeah, so I remember that.
So at least now their heads are proportionate to their bodies.
Do you have any friends that worked in those theme parks or like at Chuck E. Cheese at all growing up or in high school? I have some friends, and oh my gosh, can they tell you stories about like how disgusting those suits are? Like, that's where COVID started. COVID started in a Chuck E. Cheese mascot uniform. Okay. Like, those things are disgusting. I don't know. They need to figure out better ways, because and that is like child labor. They are putting teenagers in those costumes, and like that, it's just, no wonder there's an entire generation of people that are like, I'm over this. I'm over it.
Yeah. So make sure you guys follow me on Instagram, because I'm going to be doing theme park reviews. It's going to be embarrassing because I'm going to be a grown ass man by myself at these places. So at least get me paid.
This is, you know what? This is either going to go really well for you, or either way, I think it's going to go viral, but I don't know if you're going to be going viral as that creepy guy that goes to the theme park alone with no kids just to like eat food and be drunk around kids, or like the foodies and the Disney adults are going to be like, yeah, this guy's living the dream, you know? So like either way, I don't know. It's going to be very polarizing.
It's going to be called hashtag Disney on drugs. I think that's the new thing. But I digress.
Magical place.
I digress. So there's a couple things that have been going on in the news recently. So Ezra Miller has been arrested again in Hawaii for beating up another woman. This time this time they threw a chair at a woman at a party and hit her in the head. If you remember, they were arrested last month, or around the same time that Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. They were arrested for attacking a woman at karaoke, attacking a dude at karaoke, getting bailed out of jail by a couple, and robbing and threatening to kill said couple. And then last year, they were caught on video in Iceland choking a woman outside of a bar. And the Flash movie is still coming out in 2023. Ezra Miller plays the Flash.
I don't know. And like the Warner Brothers isn't like, we don't care. Right?
Like, but that was the interesting thing, because people kept talking about the Will Smith thing, and they were like, "Oh, we're shocked and appalled. It happened at the Oscars, and it did this, and we're traumatized by violence." And it's like, yo, you literally have this person attacking women on more than one occasion, and the fact that, because I saw this tweet when the second incident happened, where someone was like, let's not use this time to disrespect their pronouns. We need to focus on, and it's like, this person is attacking people. This person is physically attacking people. Like,
listen, okay. I feel like if you check the box of a minority or, you know, a disadvantaged minority in either way, you're not going to get too much heat. Like, look at what happened to Will Smith, right? Like, people love Will Smith. He should have been kicked out. That was assault. He assaulted Chris Rock, right? If anyone else had assaulted Chris Rock, if it wasn't Will Smith, they would have been kicked out probably immediately. Probably the police would have been called, whatever, you know? So I think it's like you get to a certain place of success as, you know, like a person, like a minority or a disadvantaged minority or whatever. And people are just like, it's also the infrastructure is like, well, this person's making us a lot of money and they're representing a disadvantaged minority, and we're going to be in hot water no matter which way we go. We should probably just protect our monetary interests.
Well, Ezra is also in it. What are those Harry Potter movies called? Those new ones?
I don't know. Honestly, like I don't really follow like the DC comics as well. I know like the nerds are going to hate me, but like he was like one of the younger generation, like out of like the DC franchise, right?
Yeah. So they was the Flash, and then they are also a character.
I'm sorry, they. I apologize. I'm using the wrong pronouns.
Saying it for myself because people are going to come after me. They're going to come after me for mispronouncing this person. That's why I'm not saying it. You can say whatever you want, but they are a part of Fantastic Beast. That's what it's called. It's the new Harry Potter prequel series. He's a character on that, right? So Warner Brothers is heavily invested in Ezra Miller, but it's just a hypocrisy of this guy is literally like harming people, making a habit of harming people. And it seems like Harry Potter has like some stuff going on behind it anyway, because people don't like J.K. Rowling anymore. Johnny Depp was in it, and then they took him out, you know, and now Ezra Miller is weird. So I don't know. I feel I get what you're saying. I get where people are like monetary, but that's the reason why I think Hollywood needs to just be honest. and stop trying to be moral compasses. You know what I mean? Because on one hand, Hollywood's trying to be on the right side of history, but they're ran by capitalism. So how are you going to be on the right side of history when you're like, okay, well, we're going when it's fiscally responsible, we're going to call out toxic behavior. However, otherwise, we're just going to let it go.
Yeah, I mean this has been the history behind Hollywood. I think it's really just if it gets viral enough, then they'll deal with it. If it's and I really think they have measures behind this, like they're tracking. Yeah. If a story gets viral enough, where it may impact them negatively, then they might, have some consequences for the talent. But yeah, it's really about, at the end of the day, it's just money.
It's just money. It's just
Hollywood only cares about money. This is why Hollywood keeps making the same reboots over and over again, because they're solidified reboots of the same movie from 30 years ago is going to get eyes, and people are guaranteed to go watch it or stream it or whatever. And so, like, we rarely see new type of content, or unknown artists as much. Or if we see an unknown artist, there's usually like other A-listers on the bill as well to get people in. So it's we started this conversation, like everything is just a business. It's just if I could sound any more jaded about Hollywood.
But there's an opportunity for us to make our own way as well, because the business is about having followers and it's about having your own fans. So if we
listen, you go viral with your eating turkey legs while drunk and or high. Yes. And I'll just write off your social media coattails. At this point, I'm just waiting for somebody to get famous enough where I could just be there. I just want to have famous friends. Okay. I want to stay working as a stand-up comedian, like writing for people, as long as all y'all make it.
No,
I'm fine living behind. Like, I'm fine living like this way. I just need to like have health insurance and make enough money to be comfortable. So y'all can do the famous person struggle, and I will live my suburban housewife life while writing roast jokes. Like, I'm totally fine doing that.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna be like half Ali Wong, half the lady that directed Frozen. All right, I get you. That's good.
Yo, like Ali Wong doesn't even want to be Ali Wong, okay? She like, did you see her? Did you see Ali Wong's latest special? She's like, yes, I want to cheat on my husband. My marriage is falling apart. Let me cheat on my husband, but I love my husband because he sees me for me. And now they're getting a divorce.
And now they're getting a divorce. Someone made a post on Facebook where they were like, yeah, we all like Ali Wong or whatever, right? And there was people that were like, it was a black dude. He was like, yeah, we all want a piece of Ali Wong, and like every black dude was like, I don't know about that. I mean, she's cool, I guess, but a piece of Ali Wong? I know she wants to bang Michael B. Jordan. That's what she said in her special. She wants to bang Michael B. Jordan.
Hey, if Michael's interested, then it's two consensual adults, whatever, That I just, like, Ali is, she is so talented, and if she wants to let her freak flag fly post-divorce, like, that is her business, and we're all happy for her to, like, go out there and do it, because male comedians, her point during her entire last special was that men get to have mistresses. They get to cheat on their wives. They get to hook up with the nanny. But like her as a successful woman, when she does it, like it's just like frowned upon or whatever. And like,
I mean, there is a lot of talk about that. There is a lot of talk of the way it's been is that wealthy men are able to exercise their options. In this man's world, that's what they call it, right? In this man's world, right? So that's why you have, because like traditionally in other countries, right? In other countries, normally like the king or the prince or whatever just has concubines. He has like 4 wives, but like 64 concubines. King Solomon had a bunch of concubines in the Bible. I mean, it's just, So
Dude,
I mean,
I have extended relatives in Pakistan who have like 2, 3 wives. Like this is not unheard of. Like people
Yeah.
are living life this way outside of the States. I feel like in America, like things are starting to evolve. I think we inherited a lot of the Puritan culture of
mhm.
of like, you know, the people that came over on the Mayflower, but like you know, it's not even a secret. Like people have mistresses, people cheat on their wives. It's called cheating because, you know, we're not okay with just being open about like, you know, my husband is with his girlfriend on the weekends. I get to hang out with my friends and have, you know, like we're judging Will and Jada on their relationship, and it's like let people do what works for them. Just
Well, I
Exactly.
think
you
I
know.
think what happens too is I think there's a lot of different, you know, I think we generalize a lot, and I think people feel a certain type of way because of that generalization. Because especially on social media, like people are much more open about their preferences, right? They're much
Yeah.
more open about, you know, I want a guy that's like 6 feet tall, and blah blah blah, and I want a dude that's this, and I want a woman that's this, and I want a woman with a symmetrical face and a big ass and all that stuff, right? But then you go out into the real world and you see things that you're like, wait a minute, I don't get it, right? Because in your mind, you're like, well, I'm not this and I'm not that. So sometimes you get down on yourself, right? Especially in a place in LA where dating is so hard, you don't necessarily just chalk it up to, oh, well, dating is just trash in the city. You start thinking about yourself and you're like, well, I'm not this and I'm not that and I don't have money and I don't have this, right? But then it's like what I told you the other day. I went to a bar and behind me there was a midget on a date.
You can't get a text back.
Wait, I'm sorry. Not to cancel you, but I think it's little person.
Little person,
Yo,
dwarf.
to
Or
me,
wait,
little-
have they reclaimed the M word though? Like, is that allowed? I have no idea.
Well,
To
well,
me,
as
little
long
person
as
sounds-
as long as white comedians are still saying the N word on stage, I'm going to say midget. So I was in this bar. Oh wait,
Which white comedian is actively saying the N word on stage now after the whole controversy over the past couple of months?
over the past couple of months. Wait, someone just said it the other day. I don't remember who it was, but someone just said it the other day. It was an open micer, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, then that doesn't matter. Like people don't.
So I
Nobody
saw
cares
this little
what-
person.
yeah.
I saw this. My message to the fellas watching this: there was a little person on a date with a normal sized woman, and they were having fun. She was talking to him. They were looking at each other. He was in a booster seat, but they were looking at each other in the same. They were looking at each
He
other's
was
eyes.
not at the booster seat.
They
You're
were
wrong.
sharing a chocolate lava cake and ice cream. And they were having an
that's
amazing
cute.
conversation. It was an adorable date. I mean, I was at the bar by myself, so I felt a certain type of way. But
Stop
it was an adorable date. So, fellas, the next time you try to help a girl on Hinge, a young lady on Hinge or whatever, and she says, "Hey, I only date guys that are 6 feet," tell her, "Woman, there's midget niggas out here getting pussy.
Oh my god.
Stop being
If they can do it, you can do it.
You can do it. Stop. Don't let them get you down, Kings. Don't let them get you down.
That is inspirational. It is inspirational.
Be comfortable with who you are. Ladies, same thing. Ladies, be comfortable with who you are. Don't take no for an answer unless it gets weird. Don't take no for an answer unless it gets weird. Okay? I just wanted to share that with my single peeps.
Those are some words of inspiration. You know what? It is very inspirational. If a little person out here can be out in the open about cheating on his wife or being in an open relationship with his wife, then like
yes,
no limits. You could do it too.
I mean, look at Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking left after. So for those of you that didn't know, Stephen Hawking was actually he suffered from MS. He was the guy that was in the wheelchair, crippled, and he spoke to a computer. He was with a woman when he was able-bodied.
Yeah.
And afterwards, after he was diagnosed with MS and he became the person that he was in the wheelchair, he left his wife for his nurse, who he was having an affair with. He couldn't even tell us what. He couldn't.
I didn't even know that.
Yes. He left his wife for his nurse, who he was having an affair with, and he couldn't even tell the woman to leave. He had to type it in the computer, and the voice had to be like, "It is time. It is time for you to get your shit and leave. I don't think this relationship is going to work out anymore." This dude sounded like Mr. Spell from Toy Story.
So I think the lesson learned here for the women who are, you know, date these cis hetero males, you know, if a man is rich or not, whatever, especially if he's got any sort of money or fame or esteem, he will cheat on you with a hoe. Like, just
yes,
you can't trust hoes these days. You can't trust hoes, and you can't trust the men that you're with. Like, you just can't.
He can literally not have a bottom half of his body, but as long as he's rich, he's still going to cheat on you somehow.
It's so easy. It is so easy. It really is.
And fellas, know your worth, kings. Know your worth. All right. So speaking of hypocrisy and assault, next item of business is see, you didn't know you were getting involved in this today, Zahra. Next item of business, I see in your face.
I wasn't ready.
Next, you weren't ready? Is that what you said?
I wasn't ready.
Next,
I had fair warning, and I still wasn't ready. So.
Next item of business is that the assault portion is that Mike Tyson got into a fight on an airplane.
Yo, okay, question. Because he just did the Joe Rogan podcast, and then Joe Rogan did Mike Tyson's podcast. So was this just like the elevated level of testosterone coming off those podcasts, just like shared between him and Joe Rogan? Because like this has just happened. So was he on his way back from Texas to Vegas
I don't
or LA?
know. Well,
I blame Joe Rogan. I'm going to blame Joe Rogan because I feel like he's tied to this masculinity.
Well, first of all, I blame the dude. So I have the video up. All right, so let's watch the video. Can you see the video?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what's so crazy? I just saw the video this morning as well, and I'm like, yeah, he was asking for it. But like, men say that about women, annoying women all the time. She was asking for it.
Well, I mean, considering the fact that he was a white dude.
He was harassing him. He was the other passenger was like drunk, right? Yeah, some drunk fan bothering Mike Tyson on the JetBlue plane. Yep. You want to play it?
Yeah.
This is George talking to Mike Tyson, bro. This shit crazy, bro. Mike Tyson.
So this dude's bothering him.
Yo, done got lit, man. He over here rapping with Tyson. Mike Tyson trying to give us some shrooms. You don't know how to act.
This
Tyson
is like
looking
first
out,
class,
man.
right?
This shit crazy.
Yeah, they're in pods.
Never gave you his money.
They're in pods.
JetBlue, net flight. Boy just got beat up by Mike Tyson. Turn that way. Yeah, he got fucked up.
All right, so
Trying to ask for autograph, man.
oh, here we go. So this is what happened.
Hey.
Yeah, I saw this.
Mike, come on. Let's go stop back. Smoking on the side.
Now let me see if we can look at it from like another angle. Now the reason I call it hypocrisy because I don't necessarily believe in violence like that, but when it's like an annoying white dude, I'm like, yeah, we need more annoying white dudes getting punched the fuck out. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, this is just like, I feel like if it's all happening, you know, in first class, like let the privilege on privilege.
Mike, come on. Let's go stop
figure
back.
it out.
Well, I mean,
JetBlue, net flight. Boy just got beat up by Mike Tyson.
I mean, Mike Tyson did not get arrested. He did not get arrested. The dude is probably going to try to sue him. That's probably what's going to happen. He's probably going to try to sue him. Or he might not. He might not press charges. Because there's video
Well,
evidence.
because I think the dude was like actually belligerently drunk, and I think you can argue battery or whatever. Like I think he did actually touch. Like if it's unwarranted touch on someone, it's considered battery, depending on what state you're in, or I don't know because they were up in the air, so I don't know what jurisdiction that falls in. So like I think that guy was originally in the wrong, and like Mike, with his money and his lawyers, can argue self-defense,
Yeah,
and
Mike
harassment
Tyson was,
or whatever,
Mike Tyson was scared for his life. The police say that all the time. So they were scared. He was scared of his life, so he had to use his deadly weapons. So
Yeah, but also like the police is not really like they don't really want to get involved. That's the other thing. Like, have you tried calling the police in the past year?
yeah, when my car was broken into,
They're not showing up. Did they actually show up?
no, they literally was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. If you didn't see them do it, no one's gonna come." That's what they told me on the phone. I called
Exactly. No,
911
they
immediately.
Dude,
I was like, "Yo, my car got broken into."
No, they
They're
don't
like,
even have enough. No.
They're like,
No,
"You can go to our website and fill out a police report."
Yep. No, the police has been defunded and canceled, and now they're just they can't do shit. They literally cannot. They cannot.
Have they really been defunded though?
Morally, I think.
Morally, but they still have money to get tanks and bazookas.
Yeah, when they need to behave like they're armed forces, then yeah.
Yeah, when they need to become the United States Army, then they have.
Yeah, when the city is under siege by social justice warriors, then yes, they bring the tanks out. But other than that, they don't give a shit. They don't.
They're like, oh no, it's the Rainbow Coalition and their unicorn shirts.
Yeah.
Look at all these people out here protesting in Disneyland shirts.
Dude, I don't know. There's got to be. There's got to be an answer because. We've called the police. We had a crazy ass neighbor, crazy ass neighbor who we shared a fence with. Definitely some mentally like mental health was deteriorating. And I'm hearing an echo. Is that Mo? Oh, Mo just muted me. Okay. Mental health was deteriorating. I think he was off his meds. He was very aggressive and like yelling and verbally assaulting people. That was not enough. Like breaking things in his own house, glass being broken, and arguing with people in his home. That was not enough to get the police to do something. But as soon as he threw like a metal pipe into the neighbor's yard when the kids were out there, immediately the police showed up and like took him away. So yeah. I really think it's got to be like something that you can get on camera that's like a warranted attack on children or like people who clearly can't like fend for themselves. Because then other than that, it's like it's straight up Gotham out here. Like everybody's kind of just like vigilante justice, kind of doing it for themselves.
Well, I mean, a lot of people are taking things to their own hands because I think they're afraid of the police. I think they would rather deal with people on the street. And also, I think there's a lack of confidence. I think the thing about it is I think there's a lack of confidence in the police force. To be honest with you, I think that's really what it is. I think it's a combination of the two, but also I think it's because it's not new for police officers to not show up for certain things. Like if you ever watched the show Martin, back in '92, they had a joke where Martin's apartment gets robbed or whatever, right? Or no, the plumber dies. So they're trying to call the police to come and the police don't show. I mean, that's a joke back in '92. And keep in mind, that's also around the Rodney King riots and all that stuff and everything. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not a thing that like is just happening. You know what I mean? It's not, people aren't fed up now. Like, I think
we're back on this wave of people being fed up again. But yeah, there was a lot of over-policing going on, and now it's like the people have taken it upon themselves to over-police, like similar to what's going on in like social media and content creation for creators or whatever. There's a lot of the public over policing,
Mhm.
and then the police is kind of like scaled back
Because they're scared of being canceled, or they're scared of being caught on camera
yeah.
as well. But at the same time, too, it's like also don't be assholes. And again, I'm not saying that like as an anti-police rhetoric. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think in general, it's just like don't be an asshole. But the problem is, there's so many people are being assholes right now. It's not just the police. Like there's looting. There is actual looting. There's like gangs of, kids masked up, and these aren't kids, like teenagers, people in their 20s, masked up, looting like major department stores. And yeah, they're insured, whatever. They'll get everything back. But it's like now, like our neighborhood. I live in a suburb. It's a pretty nice suburbs. It's a pretty nice suburb, but like people's cars are getting. Like people are walking into these nice neighborhoods and breaking doors open and stealing things. Like kids live here, like these are targeted. Like you're coming into a nice neighborhood to steal our shit. Like what did we do to you? Like we're living here paying our very expensive property taxes. And like what are we supposed to do? Was it like so everyone's got to get a gun now in the neighborhood?
Well, it's literally like the Wild West. Like I think we live in a society now. We've turned into a society where self-centeredness is the way of life. You know what I mean? Like being self-centered is the encouraged way of being. I'll give you an example. The worst commercials on TV right now are Taco Bell commercials. And the reason is because everybody in Taco Bell commercials are assholes. I don't know if you've seen like a recent Taco Bell commercial, but it's a bunch of asshole kids in these Taco Bell commercials that all they care about is tacos, right? So there's this one commercial where they talk about Taco Bell breakfast because, every day needs to start off with diarrhea. And
I've seen that. It's two girl roommates.
It's right? 2 girl roommates, and they come in, and she's like, oh, it's your birthday. I brought you breakfast, right? So the one girl is eating her burrito and her hash brown, and the other girl is having coffee and like a Cinnabon or whatever, right? And the other girl, who she brought food to, she said, I have a dream about this, that you gave me your Cinnabons, your Cinnabon bites. And it's like, bitch, she brought you breakfast. And you want her breakfast?
Yeah. No,
you know what I mean? And whoever came up with that idea was like, oh, it's funny that we want to show that our food is desirable, so we're going to show this chick wanting all of the food. But it's also like, selfish. But you're also encouraging people to only care about themselves.
Mm-hmm. But it is her birthday.
but you see, that's my point. So what happens is you start seeing, and again, I don't necessarily think that like everything is the media's fault, but you start seeing this being replicated in real life where you meet people and all they can see is past their arm's length, right? And then that's the reason why we can't really get along, because everyone only cares about how I feel. This is how I felt. This is what I saw. This is what I experienced. So then when another person comes in who says, well, I was in the same place that you were in, and this is how I felt, and this is what happened from my point of view, and this is how I experienced it. They're like, I don't give a fuck about your feelings, because my feelings are the feelings that matter.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, you have a house? Man, fuck all the hard work that you did. I don't have it, so I want it.
Yeah, it's so unfair. Like people are just, it's like the haves and not haves, or the have-nots, have and have-nots, and there's no like mutual appreciation. There's no like, we live in a community and we all are working hard. Like I don't know. I mean, people blame the government. Maybe it is. I would say a lot of it is because of that as well. But it's like we've been pitted against each other as people. Mm-hmm. And we're like fighting with each other instead of fighting the system that created this.
Yeah.
And I don't feel bad for living in a house because like my parents worked hard to like give me an education, and like I worked my ass off, and like I've been working since I was 14. Like I worked my ass off, you know, and it's unfair now that we have to think about, okay, should we get a gun because people are just coming into the neighborhood and breaking into people's cars and like diving into people's backyards and like just, you know, robbing people in their houses. Like it is very, and these are expensive neighborhoods, you know, like a normal, and it makes you so mad because like I worked so hard to get here. Both my fiance and I worked so hard, and we're both children of immigrants, and our parents worked hard for us to achieve this dream. And now it's like people don't understand that we're just somebody that lives in like a nice house in a nice neighborhood. You know, there's like no understanding of like there's no humanity. Like who's the person that you're robbing? You're robbing a person that worked hard for that shit.
Right.
Like, can you imagine like? And I think we have to start thinking about each other as like, that is somebody's sister, that is somebody's wife, that is somebody's mom, that, you know, we don't think of each other in that way anymore. And that makes me really sad. Like we don't have compassion for the other human being.
And it's really because at this point, a lot of people are angry and a lot of people don't know where to look. But at the same time, it's also the encouragement of me. No one else gives a fuck about me. I give a fuck about me. So fuck you. That's and oh, go ahead.
But I appreciate, okay, that way of thinking is okay if you can figure out how to do it within the bounds of things that are legal, right? Like and not destroying someone else's life.
But
like that's the problem. If you want to figure it out, be like the Catch Me Outside girl. Like open up an OnlyFans and figure out a legal way to make your millions. You know, like go in a route that like could work for you. Don't like go steal somebody's like laptop like that.
And that's what we talk about on this podcast. On this podcast, we literally talk about we need to get away from this victimhood. And what happens is when you talk about like, oh no, we're not victims, we can do our own thing. You get pushback from people that are like, oh, no, wait, no, stop it. It's not making society any better. And speaking of which, I'm trying to be a millionaire, and Bad Baby made $50 million on OnlyFans and just paid $6 million cash on a Florida mansion.
Well done.
I don't know.
Well done.
I don't know if I should congratulate this bitch or whether I should be mad.
It's unfortunate you wasn't born an attractive woman with no morals.
No, but the thing about Bad Baby is that she was 16 or 17, and she was talking about fucking rappers that were like in their 20s,
like
which
I
is
said,
gross, which is like gross on its own level. Yeah. Then she turns 18 and does an OnlyFans, and all these perverts $50 million.
You know, you got to strike when the iron is hot, you know, and she became famous off of the Catch Me Outside on Dr. Phil, and she rode that train. She rode it, and I'm not mad at her for doing it because if I was in her position, I would probably do the same thing. You know, why not? Like I mean, she didn't go to college. She doesn't have a skill set that's going to take her into her 40s, 50s, 60s. You know, she's got to make that money now.
I mean, she just got her GED.
Exactly. Congrats. So she's working on it, you know, but she's from Florida. Let me tell you, people from Florida, like, they're creative. Okay. And she did that, you know, like let the Catch Me Outside girl be a lesson to you all. You know, you got to work with the skills you have in the means that you can, you know.
Yep. What's that old saying from the 70s? You got to use what you got to get what you want.
Exactly.
Use what you got to get what you want.
I blame Oprah.
Was that her voice saying it?
No. Well, no.
You blame Oprah. You blame Oprah for stepping down so Dr. Phil can introduce you to all these personalities.
I blame Oprah for giving Dr. Phil a chance, who then gave the Catch Me Outside girl a chance.
Now, listen there. The Catch Me Outside girl, she's the reason why I blew up. She blew up. I blew up. That's why I had to bring her back.
Listen, don't blame this on Oprah. Okay, there it goes. There you go. Like, leave black women out of all the roasting for now. Okay, well, Oprah knows how to take a joke, but like, let's just not try to throw any black woman under the bus in any way, shape, or form.
She's not black. She's Oprah.
Oprah's her own race. She's a super race called billionaire. God.
Yeah. Is she the first black lady billionaire or woman billionaire? She got one of those records.
Something like that. I'm trying to. I think she might be the.
I think
first
she was the richest.
She might be the first self-made black woman billionaire.
Yeah, she was Oprah. It was Oprah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Oprah was the first.
Oprah is the first black female billionaire.
Good for her.
Okay. Yeah, I knew it was something like that.
Followed closely by Kylie Jenner. So now let's get to.
Wait, so if you, but like, haven't we confirmed if you married into black or had a child with black, you're still not black, right?
Depends on who you talking to.
Wait. Are you talking about the person that marries?
I'm talking about Kylie. I'm talking about the Kardashians.
Kylie's not black. The Kardashians are
the
black.
Kardashians are not black, right? No matter how much they try to marry them, have babies with them,
no, they're not.
Destroy their careers, whatever.
Yeah.
We've confirmed they are not black, right?
No. They are Armenians that are appropriating black culture.
Gypsies.
Armenians.
No, they call them gypsies too.
No, but you have to, like, this was they are second generation, okay? We forget Rob Kardashian Sr. was friends with the original black influencer OJ Simpson, you know? Like they're the original, you know, so it's like this is learned behavior. That's all. I don't know. That's my 2 cents. I don't think we can get mad at the Kardashian children because they learned it from their father. May he rest in peace.
Yeah, I mean, I have hopes for the kids, but not much. But let's get to the main topic. We've been the main topic that we haven't been talking about for an hour. Zahra, thank you so much for coming again. And the main reason that we wanted to talk about this is because there's this trend that I've been noticing in the LA comedy scene specifically, and somewhere in Los Angeles myself, is that for some reason there's an obsession with fetishization of people in the LA comedy scene. Every time I go to an open mic, every time I go to a show, and there's a white woman comedian that's not quite professional, I can do a bingo of like black dick jokes. I can do a bingo. Like I can bring a bingo card in, and if it's like NBA center, bing. You know, I like the only time I say the N-word is when I fuck a black dude. Ding. I believe that black people should get reparations, so that's why I fuck black men. Ding. Like I can do a bingo card.
So that last joke, these white women are thinking that they're part of the reparations, like they're a prize.
Yeah. Okay. Like they're literally like, and these are like jokes that I've heard. Like I'm not making these jokes up, right? And that's why I think it's interesting what happened when we were talking before about having white women comedians on the show and them not wanting to come on because they're scared of being canceled. But the thing about it is that I understand the fear, but you still told the joke. So if the joke is being told, and I'm not saying it in the way that they deserve to be, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I think we should also be able to have the conversation, because there needs to be every time I tell a joke, it's based off of personal experience. So that's why I'm able to sit down and talk about it, because it's like this is something based on fact or based on truth, right? So it's one of those things where I'm trying to figure out why is it that black people are living rent-free in a lot of non-black people's minds?
Guilt.
I think this is your sign to exit stage left, the open mic community of LA. Just get the fuck out. Just so you've graduated. If you're the funniest person in a room, like, you're in the wrong room, you know, like, that's, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Like, honestly, I don't even hear this shit. I don't even hear this shit in the rooms that I do, because those people are not professional comedians. Like, that stuff does not fly on stage. And when it does fly on, like, the public stages, the stages that, like, the celebrities perform on, that shit goes viral real quick. And then that's when it comes into the cancel culture ether. These open micers who are saying this ridiculous shit, they haven't figured out joke writing. They haven't figured out parameters of what is okay for them to talk about versus what's not. They don't know, like, point of view yet. So they don't necessarily know that as a white woman, maybe, like, no one wants to hear me talking about dating black guys. Like, that is very, like, Lisa Lampanelli 90s. And as a culture, we've evolved. Like, Lisa was so funny with that material when it was original, but now it's not. It is not original, and the culture's evolved, and some of this shit is not okay to talk about anymore. And maybe a lot of these women were inspired by Lisa Lampanelli, and you can always tell who an open micer is inspired by.
Well, what's interesting about that? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You need to let it, like, you should call it out. And I'm a full believer in the open mic scene. When you're amongst comics who are working their shit out, those are workout rooms, and you can call out someone who's doing something problematic, especially if it's towards your people. Because I've done that. I was like, listen, maybe you shouldn't do 9/11 jokes in 2014. Like, let's not do that, you know? And people if they're offended and they don't want to listen, that's up to them. But, like, at least you voice your concern.
Well, what's interesting about that, and that's when it comes to, like, telling jokes too, is that you can definitely tell who is speaking from personal experience. Like, that's why I love your comedy so much, Zahra, is because everything that you talk about is from personal experience. You literally are like, oh, I'm planning my wedding right now, so here's 20 minutes about wedding planning, or my parents, or this is, you know what I mean? So that's the type of comedy that I enjoy. Now, the difference is, a lot of times is you hear people giving their experience, telling jokes, and you're like, you never experienced this, or you don't know, or you don't care. And the thing about when it comes to material like interracial dating, there's a lot of comedians I know with amazing material about interracial dating, and that's because they've lived it, right? I
have material on interracial dating, but
yeah, well,
that was worked out in the open mic scene, you know, and it did take some time.
And I have material too, but you can tell when it's people that either live in their own heads, don't have a real life, or have never experienced, because that's when you get people getting on stage and saying, you know, you can't pull a black woman's hair because of her weave, or I say the N-word when I fuck black guys and all that stuff. If your experience is saying the N-word while having sex with black men, we can tell that it's a real experience in the joke. And we can also tell when you're just saying it because you think it's funny. And that's sometimes when I talk to new comedians, that's how I talk. I sounded like a Falkor Leghorn for a second. I said. That's why I tell comedians that are just starting out, I say, don't worry about being funny. The reason is because that's when you start getting the dick jokes. That's when you start getting the fart jokes. That's when you start getting the pussy jokes. That's when you start getting the sex jokes. Because all the masturbation jokes, because all they care about is being funny, that they're not actually figuring out their voice.
You just laid out my whole hour right now. You just laid out my.
Still working on it, everybody.
It depends, though. Like,
years in, yeah.
New comics, they're rarely funny. It's like a very special breed of a human that's like funny right off the bat. And everybody thinks they're that person when they're starting out. And then you have to wait for their egos to get completely demoralized and destroyed for them to be a normal human that you can talk to. But you just gotta call it out. Like I'm a strong believer in just like when you're in these workout rooms, call it out. Also, Kenan, why do you talk to new comics? Like that's your problem. That's a personal problem.
Because I'm an empath.
You're too nice. I'm too
nice, and then I get on my podcast to talk shit about.
The only way I really talk to new comics is if they genuinely have good talent. Like I see something in them, but just run of the mill. Hey, how you doing? Like, you want to hear this joke? Like, no, I don't.
I'll talk to new comics who are nice and humble and like genuinely excited and wanting to learn. The thing is, a lot of the times the open mic scene out here is like actors whose managers told them to try stand up, and so they come in with this aura of like, oh well, I'm already somebody, and that should translate into stand up, and then they go on stage and they say these ridiculous, absurd, inappropriate things that no one should be saying on stage. And, and Kenan, to your point, like, these are the people that need to be called out. Like, hey, bro, like, I know you've been on XYZ TV show, or I know that you're a famous rapper who has a problematic relationship with her doctor's gynecologist, but, like, you can't say that shit on stage. You can't behave like that in stand-up. It's like a different beast, it's a different animal, and people just need to be trained.
You shouldn't say it because they're going to do it. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't say it.
And the thing about it is, if you're going to go down that line, you have to make sure it's damn good. Right?
It got to be fire, man.
So my experience, and this goes beyond comedy, interracial dating is a big deal here in Los Angeles. For some reason it is, right? But it's almost like it's a fetishy thing, right? And I'm saying that from a point of view of not like what a fetish is. You know what I mean? I'm not like 6'7", you know what I mean? Like I'm not black.com. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I see a lot of these things. Because I'm just like a normal guy or whatever. So I end up seeing a lot of these things. So I think I've told you this, Zahra, before. It's like I've been in situations where like white women have approached me at bars and all that stuff, right? And it starts off like they come in hot. Like they come in like, oh, you're cute and all this stuff. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm going to bother you. I'm going to do this. Oh, here's my phone number and all that stuff, right? And then immediately afterwards, it goes into like sexual assault. Like they start talking about like sexual assault, like immediately. Oh. I was at Saddle Ranch, which is mistake number one. And I went there after I was.
These are all personal problems, Kenan. It sounds like all your problems are because
I go to
you don't know. You need to hang out with your your elite talent. So hang out with elite talent, okay? Like why are you hanging out with Gen Pop? Like stop it. Just stop.
You hear that, Mo?
Well, yeah, no, I know. So the podcast is about to be over. I know. I already know what you're gonna say. So why you fucking with me?
So the story is, I went to Saddle Ranch after the store because for some reason I go there and get a steak after I'm hanging out at the store. I drink at the store, which is like my mistake. And I was over. Like, have you been to Saddle Ranch, Zahra?
Of course, yes. Every comedian in LA has been to Saddle Ranch because when you're done with the Comedy Store or you're waiting to go to the Comedy Store, you end up there because it's a 2-minute walk. It's easy to get into Saddle Ranch. No one's going to turn you away.
They accept everybody. So I'm sitting over in the corner by myself, minding my own business. I'm very much keeping my face in my phone. And then my steak comes. And this woman sitting next to me was in my face. Like, she was like, oh, I want to make sure your steak is medium rare or whatever. I'm nosy. I'm this and that. So we're just talking. And then eventually she gives me her phone number. And then immediately after she gives me her phone number, she's like, oh, I'm not sure whether you're a sex trafficker or not.
What?
And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go home traumatized now because I thought this was a normal conversation, right? So I'm just like, why? But the thing about it is, it's a thing. It's a thing. Like it's a thing. That seems to be the trajectory. It's you're hanging out. Some white woman comes up and says, "Oh, we should hang out. Here's my number, whatever." And then they'll follow it up with, "Oh, by the way, my brother's a cop." Or they'll say something, and I'm like, "Is this like a part of the fantasy? Like what? Like what is?" I'm trying to understand. That's what I'm trying to understand. I'm like, is this like a part? Is this like a thing? Like, what is it?
Remember, I think Patrice, he was talking about some white chick was talking with a white, brute fantasy. She's like, I hope you don't grab me with your big, black, strong hands. So it kind of reminds me of that situation.
It's like, man. I hope you don't take me behind the dumpster and choke me. It's like, what? And I'm sitting there like, what are you talking about? Oh, I hope you don't like Bill Cosby me. Someone said that to me. They're like, oh, I hope you don't like Bill Cosby me or something. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm flipping out. I'm like, what are you saying to me? Why?
These are not the type of white women that you want to be calling back or calling or delete the number. Yeah. Don't pick up. Like, it's just, we know this, right? We know that there are some people who just are programmed at an early age to be racist. And it's a lot of deprogramming that they have to do. And unfortunately, our media and our culture does not make it easy. Does that give them a free pass to be morons? No, it really doesn't. And at that point, like, Kenan, you got to hang out with elite talent such as yourself. And Mo, you can't just stop hanging out at Saddle Ranch where these crazy ass drunk people from wherever hang out.
Yo, you saying some real shit though. That's real.
Like, what the like, here's the thing. One of the reasons why I stopped going to open mics, because I got sick and tired of hearing the same 7 brown Muslim jokes against me about Princess Jasmine and how many goats does your dad want for you? Shut the fuck up.
I don't know. The Princess Jasmine, that's kind of.
Oh yeah, anyone who's ever dated me fell in love with Princess Jasmine when they were young. This is of course I understand. I'm a type. I understand, but it's so if you're trying to be a comedian, don't do the thing that the obvious thing that I had white guys drunk on the street just randomly searching Prince Ali, fabulous he, as they're walking past me. This is not, do something else. And it's this is why I feel once you've achieved a level of I understand what's funny, I know how to write a joke, I know I have a group of writer friends. I have a group of friends where I can test out my material. I don't need to be hanging out or susceptible, to all this problematic stuff that is triggering. For me, it was triggering. Also, open micers hit on me, and it's I'm not saying, oh, I'm so perfect, everyone's hitting it. No, it's I'm a woman. I'm usually one of 2 women in a room of 50 men when it comes to these open micer,
So why make it uncomfortable? It's crazy.
It's uncomfortable. It's unsafe. I don't want to be there around new blood that does not know how. They don't know me. My friends know me. People who've been in the scene for years, they know who I am, and there's a mutual respect. But these new guys that come in, they don't know me, and they don't know how to behave towards women in this industry. Yeah. So it's I'm not going to put myself there. And I urge you guys who are feeling triggered, who are feeling kind of not attacked, but hearing these disgusting things.
It's just weird.
By people who don't understand you.
Unnecessary.
Get out. If you stop tolerating it, people will stop doing it.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. All right, go ahead.
A lot of comments.
And then we're going to wrap up.
Yeah. No, I was just saying, a lot of them forget, this is work for people that are really trying to do it. And if you're at work, you're not trying to hit on if you're trying to be a professional, you're not hitting on your coworkers every 5 seconds. Yo, try to get funny first. Maybe if you get funny, somebody will want to give you some pussy. You understand what I'm saying? This is a job. And a lot of these comics, a lot of these noobs, they forget that shit, man.
I've been doing this 9 years, and I hooked up with 2 comics, and it wasn't because I pursued it. It was just randomly happening in weird circumstances. But I'm business when I'm in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even tunnel vision. If I bring somebody in here, she's not associated with comedy. Period. I tried to do that shit once, didn't work. You know, messing with comics. So. The money, the honey, all that comes after. But you gotta be funny and be professional.
I mean, sometimes the money never comes, but you can still focus on your jokes.
Fuck it. If they ain't gonna never come, then I quit. You know what I'm saying?
There's money. You just have to get through all the drink tickets and like all the other things before getting to the actual money.
And the club owners that play guitar
or the club owner that does 40 minutes at an open mic because he got inspired.
But I want to take this time to actually praise Zahra. Zahra is one of the amazing performers you guys for social media. Make sure you check out Facebook Recognition Comedy. Zahra, where are you? Where people can come see you?
I don't know, man. When is this coming out? Because I feel like I'm doing tonight? Tomorrow. Okay, so this weekend, Friday. What's Friday? Tomorrow? Okay, so today, April 22nd, I will be at Flappers in Burbank. Saturday, April 23rd, I will be at the world famous Comedy Store in West Hollywood. I'm doing this show called Your Vintage Joke. It was part of the Just for Laughs Festival in Montreal, and they've expanded like worldwide. So they're doing the show this Saturday, 10:30 p.m. Upstairs in the belly room. It's basically every comic is assigned a country, and then you roast the country, your opponent's country. I'm representing America because I'm American.
You're Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris.
Yeah, Kamala Harris.
By the way, I have a bunch of lasers. If anyone needs me to fill in and play Kamala Auntie, I would be happy to do it. Anyway, I also have the diction and the political. Anyway, we have to talk about
the ethnic makeup, everything.
Yeah. So I'm representing America. I'm roasting a Canadian comedian and Canada as an American. So if you have any animosity towards Canadians or any countries, just come out and watch.
Nice.
Yeah. Other than that, you just follow me on Really Zahra on all the socials, and like I'm up at the clubs. I'm around. Awesome.
Mo, where can they find you? Socials.
All platforms. Comedian Mo Green. And as far as what I have coming up, every Monday I do Mo's Open Mic Mondays, Bloomfield, Connecticut, Village Pizza. And for actual shows, May 1st, I have a show at the Village Pizza, the same thing. But the one I'm really concerned about is May 29th. That will be at Vibes Uptown in Hartford, Connecticut. And it'll be headlined by Fig, the comedian. He's been on HBO, Showtime, BET Comic View, Def Jam, Apollo, blah, blah, blah. But there you go.
Cool. And me, April 28th through May 1st, I'm going to be at the Ontario Improv with the illustrious Godfrey. Follow me on all my social media.
Yeah, man.
Floyd. You can also go to
fuck that, man. You know what, man? Because we created this shit. We built this shit. All those white people. Man.
We don't have time.
I just want to do that real quick.
Linktree.com/Kenan J. Floyd. All platforms. Follow the podcast, LSP Cast on Instagram, LSP Cast on Facebook. Like, share, and subscribe our page. Thank you so much for joining us, Zahra. Thank you for joining us, Mo. Thank you for joining us for this edition of The Light Skin Perspective. You guys have a good weekend.
Deuces. So same deal.